There's going to be smiles for the next half an hour as we go to the US Open final at Flushing Meadow for the women. And she did it. Bianca, she did it. Bianca Andreescu to everyone else, but to us, myself, James and Snize. Bianca did it, boys.
Yeah.
Snize, how happy are you?
Snize.
How happy are you?
I'm very happy. I'd want one of those memes where it's like everything is just as I have foreseen. This is what I've been talking about the entire tournament. I've been racing Bianca to the roof. Took her pre-tournament on pretty much every single imaginable market, sitting on her at 17 to win the entire thing. And yeah, I have no reason to not feel good about her chances here. I think that she has a great chance to win everything.
Well, I have actually asked a few friends if we can get Bianca to send us a message thanking Snize and James for their support all the way through. As of yet, nothing. But if it does come through, I'll make sure that I pass it on, lads. Is it going to be one step too far, though? She plays Serena. We said yesterday that Serena's hitting 98% of her shots right out the middle of the strings. And, well, Svitolina, she ran into a runaway train. James, I'll start with you. We've got Serena at 1.33. We've got Bianca at 3.2. Can you go against Serena in the way she's hitting that ball?
Yes. I think for me, this is obviously Snize had a great tip, as you mentioned, from the start of the tournament on Bianca at 17. But anyone who's not on that already, so isn't already cheering on Bianca, I can't fault them for taking this price. I mean, we're getting 3.4, I can see here being offered at Bet365 on a player who, as Snize pointed out last week, hasn't lost a match since March. And again, played really, really well yesterday against Bencic. It was a very, as expected, very competitive affair. Very, very kind of, she's a very tactically minded player. And you could see it was a very chess kind of game with Bencic. They were trying to figure each other out, trying to figure out exactly how much to go for, because they both have the ability to hit through the ball as well as take a bit of time away, as well as try something different. I saw Andreescu bringing her up the court a lot more, trying to coax the errors. And again, I think we're going to see a lot of that with Serena. We didn't see a lot of the match between Serena and Bianca in Toronto because Serena retired. But immediately Andreescu was able to pull her out of her comfort zone. And you feel like Serena's played very well this week. I said yesterday, or when we did the last show, I said that I wasn't really feeling like opposing Serena, even though I felt like Svitolina was perhaps a decent price. I just didn't have the feel. And I think that changes slightly with Andreescu, because I know that she will take her out of her comfort zone. She is going to make Serena really play her best here to win this. And to be honest, I just thought this was about a 60-40 situation, maybe something like that. And we can get 3.4. So not much more to it than that. I mean, that implies she's got a 28% chance. I'm pretty confident she's got more than a 28% chance personally. So,
Snize, if you hadn't backed her beforehand, would you back her in the final at 3.4? And the other thing is your biggest worry the nerves?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would back her again if I hadn't taken her pre-tournament. Again, it's just she looks like she cannot lose a tennis match at the moment. She looks absolutely unbeatable on court. She's only 19 years old, yet she's undefeated since March. She is now moved up to 8-0 against top 10 players after defeating Bencic last night. She's 12-0 in deciding sets. And her mental fortitude, nerves won't be a problem because her mental fortitude is on another planet. I'd say she competes better than almost any other player on tour, and she's only 19 years old, so it's absolutely incredible. She's a natural problem solver, and she just seems to relish these opportunities when she is down, when the going gets tough. Bianca gets going. She was down both 1-4 and 2-5 in the second set. Her second serve and first serve started to go astray. Bencic started to gather some momentum, pressure her, and we thought, oh, this is going 3 sets now. But no. She said in her interview, quote, "I think when I'm down, I play my best tennis. Whenever my back is against the wall, I think I'm just extra focused in those moments. I remember I told myself at 5-2 that I didn't want to go in 3 sets. So I think I just switched my mindset. I was just really, really focused. And that just really exemplifies the way that Bianca plays. Even when it looks like it's all over for her, she just finds a way through. And that's absolutely admirable. I think I'd say it's actually the opposite. Serena Williams has all the pressure on her, and Andreescu can play with freedom because she has nothing to lose here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really buy into that because I feel as if like the first one's always the hardest to win. Excuse me. Yes, Serena's obviously got so much on the line, but I'm hearing back in Canada they're calling this the most important tennis match in the history of the game for that nation. Now, I also look and think Bianca's had 25 games yesterday. Serena breezed through. Are you not worried that there's going to be a bit of fatigue for Bianca?
No. I mean, if we look at her tournaments in both Indian Wells, where she won the title, and Toronto, where she won the title, she was playing a lot of free setters, actually more free setters than she played in this tournament. And she looked injured in those tournaments too. On Indian Wells, she was hobbling noticeably in between points. She was, touching her shoulder, touching her thighs. She was looking really, really physically hampered out there, yet still find a way to battle through injury and find the win. She's one of the fittest players on tour, and though injuries are a concern for her in already in these early stages of her career, she's not one that will physically break down. She's not one that will feel the fatigue as many other players do. I don't think that fatigue is a concern.
One thing I'd want to bring out as well, Flash, is I think you're right in the sense that I don't think she's not going to have nerves. I think obviously a lot of it is about how you deal with the nerves. When you start to go off, how do you respond to that? And I think, as Snize mentioned, she's one of the best at that. But there's also, and we've seen this with Medvedev as well, there is, at least to some degree, a bit of an invulnerability with the younger players sometimes, in the sense that they have no fear, and Andreescu's got no reason to have that yet. She hasn't lost to any of the top players yet. So
no, I agree with you, James. I agree with you because I mean, obviously coming from a sporting background, I love the fact that nerves take a hold and use them in the right way. I mean, nerves, for me, they always focus the mind. And you talk about fear. I think there's a bigger fear of winning than there is a bigger fear of losing. So I agree with you. I think that her fear is that she doesn't win, not that she doesn't lose. So, I mean, I'm all with her. I'm cheering her. There's other value markets, though. I mean, total games, James, I'll let it you. Under 20.5 at 2 or over 20.5 at 1.75. Either of them two markets make appeal?
Yeah, so I think in general, there's a couple of key factors for me with over markets, with total games markets. The first one, obviously, is that you want players who are generally serve orientated. Otherwise, you're going to tend to have better markets to choose. So we've got Serena. She's definitely serve orientated compared to other guys in the top 20. I would say Andreescu's not particularly serve orientated at all. So the thing about that matchup for me is I think it's probably not a bad bet, but that's because I think betting on the match going long is probably a good shout. For me, the one that stands out is over sets, so over 2.5 sets at 2.63. I think that's much closer to 2.2, 2.1, because I doubt that either of these two players is actively likely to win in straight sets. It feels like if Andreescu gets behind, she's going to fight, and if Serena gets behind, well, she might retire, but she is also likely to fight. She's going to have at least some type of surge in this match at some point, given the way she's been playing. So yeah, I think over 20.5 is fine. I just prefer the over sets bet instead.
Okay, Snize, we're all sitting in the old Bianca camp. She's a dog, okay, and obviously in the nicest form of being a dog, only in price-wise. I've got Bianca plus 4.5 games at 1.75. Now, if we think she's going to win, or we think she's got an unbelievable chance of winning, and we think it's going long, giving Bianca 4 games, surely that's great value.
The thing is, when you face Serena Williams, with many players, is that they can become frozen. They can become terrified, and just facing the sheer might and overwhelming power that is Serena Williams. You know that you're going to have an extremely tough time breaking her, and she'll impose herself in every single service game. So we've seen many players break down under that pressure. For example, Elina Svitolina started really well and had a lot of chances actually to get ahead in the first set, but she couldn't take them, and she looked really mentally gone from there because just the pressure was just ramping up, and at the end she just froze up. I don't think Andreescu has these issues, though. As I've said, she doesn't fear Serena as many others do. Of course, she respects her, but she doesn't fear her, and that showed really in those 4 games she played against Serena in the Rogers Cup final. Told me a lot. She went ahead 3-1 in a break-up, and she's really just, as James said, is going to push her out of her comfort zone. So I think either backing Bianca to win a set or Bianca to win or plus 4.5 games both appeal to me. Yeah.
Okay, James,
So
I'm going to put another one
you
up.
can get plus 4.5 at 1.8. Just sorry to mention with that market,
Yeah.
you can get it at 1.8 with Bet365, which I think is a good bet.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm thinking. We're all thinking Bianca's great value to actually go and win the whole thing. But if she was to get beat tie-break, you're still backing a winner. Now, also going along these lines, first set games under 9.5, 1.75, over 9.5 at 2.1. Now, if we think the nerves might get the better of her in the early stages, and remember that Serena's petrol gauge gets lower. So, I mean, if you're going to go for like maybe a 6-2 or a 6-3 in the first from Serena, then this is applicable as well. Snize.
Yeah, just looking a bit at the previous finals in the U.S. Open and for Serena as well. So in the last 9 U.S. Open finals, good to keep in note, the average games have been 17.33. 6 of them have been decided in straight sets. Serena's last 6 finals have all been decided in straight sets, and if we look at the 3 latest ones, all of them have gone under the 9.5 games. And what we've seen in these major finals is that Serena has been paralyzed. Since coming back from maternity leave, her nerves have failed her at the most crucial moments. She hasn't been able to find her serve. Errors have been everywhere, and the opponent has capitalized brilliantly. So she actually Williams hasn't won a set in her last 3 finals. She's been demolished. The best set she had was a 6-4 loss. So I would have to say that either some nerves do get to Andreescu, although I don't think they will, or Serena Williams, I actually think, is the more likely one to feel the nerves in her home slam, considering last year's debacle and everything with Osaka as well, to feel the nerves. So I definitely feel that someone is going to have a tough time in the start of this match, and definitely would lean under in the first set.
James, the big thing I say is that since her maternity leave, she's had the baby, she's come back. I've not seen her hit the ball as well as she's hit it in these championships. I mean, smooth, powerful. Now, I also agree that no one's really run her around a bit, because she's actually just executing the shots to, like, I mean, probably only Bianca is up there with her on ball striking alone. Now, I look and I think Andreescu, just to win a set at 2, and we think that she could possibly go and win it, that has got to like entice us to get involved. James?
Yeah, so 2, I did not realize it was 2. Is that, so I mean, it's 1.95 with Pinnacle. I mean, that's phenomenal, I think, really. Yeah, I don't think she's very likely at all to lose in straight. Same idea with the plus 4.5 games. Of course, that could land with something like 6-4, 6-4 or 7-6, 6-3. But yeah, I mean, I think she's very, very likely to win a set. The key, so there's 2 things with Serena that I think Andreescu is particularly going to be good at exploiting. The first one is really about Williams' general ability to move around the court well. She's looking relatively big. She's never been a small tennis player, but her game is based around hitting people off the court. She's not the most nimble mover And again, this week, when players have been able to move her around, as Snize said, Svitolina had good chances at the start of the match yesterday. And there's no reason to think that failed for anything other than kind of just one of those things. Svitolina just wasn't able to keep it together in the end. But yeah, certainly, I think the basic point we're making here is virtually all of the markets which lean on Andreescu are looking good. I would be less inclined to go with something like over a 20.5 or even total sets. I mean, I suggested 3 sets. I do think that's a good bet, but it's interesting. Snize points out the amount of matches that have been decided in straight sets, which does imply that basically one person tends to raise to the occasion and the other one doesn't. So I think if you're going to bet on anything, probably just taking something quite ambitious, maybe even 2 love to Andreescu, which is 6. That seems like a good bet. That seems like a good approach.
Okay, well, let's wrap this up. We've only got 24 hours to wait until the big one. You've been waiting all your life for this, I think, Snize. Give me your best bet out of the ones we've mentioned.
All right, so as you already know, I'm extremely high on Andreescu. I have a long article that's going to come up on Odds Market detailing my first selection. And even though I have an outright, I don't really care. It's half a unit. I think this price is absolutely brilliant on Andreescu. Looking at him just statistically even, Andreescu is ahead. And most people don't realize this. Obviously, Serena is priced on her legacy and her fantastic accolades throughout her career, but just looking at it from a statistical standpoint, they're dead even in hold break, and Andreescu has better hardcourt ELO. So just on that alone, this is almost as close of a 50-50 matchup as you can get. So my first bet is Andreescu to win the match at 3.40 with bet 65. So I have a unit and a half. As we've discussed here on the show, all of the markets that back Andreescu in some way are markets that I really love in this matchup. I've also gone ahead and bet on Andreescu to win 2-0, have half a unit on that at 560. I've also gone ahead and backed Andreescu plus the 4.5 games at 180 with bet 65 for a unit and a half. So I think that at worst, we'll see Andreescu really, really, really compete. I cannot see her succumbing to the occasion or going down without a fight. She will take a set or push Serena really hard, but I think it's just more likely that she just storms out of the gate. She fears no one, as we saw in that Rogers Cup final, storms to the first set, and from there on, I think Serena's fight against her own mental ghosts will take over. So yeah, all in on Andreescu for sure.
James, all in on on Bianca?
Yeah, I mean, I think, can't really say it better. I think it's difficult to look beyond the match odds. Maybe the 2 love makes more sense based on the US Open finals. But I do think this is, from watching them this week and from the longer term trends of these 2 players, I think it's likely to go over. I mean, just to contrast with Snize, I'm going to go for, I think the win is the best bet, but I'm going to go for over 2.5 sets at 2.62 with Bet365 and just take a chance that the trends at the US Open are not going to play a huge part in this match.
Okay, and Bianca to win a set at 2, I think, is just unbelievable value. Lads, enjoy the final, and I'm sure we're going to speak soon, maybe tomorrow with the men.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, you go well.
Thanks for having us.
No worries, Snize, anytime. Thanks, James.